Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
Stat of the Day is presented by Amazon Prime Video. Thursday Night Football is on. The Baltimore Ravens take on the Miami Dolphins. Coverage begins Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video.
The Giants and Jets are a combined 3-13. That is not the stat of the day. The top two passers in the NFL in net yards per pass attempt are Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold. So their former quarterbacks get out of those organizations, and all of a sudden, explosive plays aplenty.
Weren't they both on the Vikings last year?
They were both good. Well, one of them was very good on the Vikings last year, and I thought Daniel Jones was going to be good for the Vikings if he had stayed there. I thought Daniel Jones was going to look a little bit like this if he had stayed there, because I think Justin Jefferson and their skill guys are that good, but he just took it with him to Indianapolis.
What's happening in Minnesota is really interesting, and I'd love to ask Dianna Russini a question about what's going to happen there, because Carson Wentz, it seems like his agent was talking to some reporters yesterday, a little pissed off about what happened to him as he's out there sacrificing his body, getting more and more hurt as the Vikings take an extra cautious approach with J.J. McCarthy, a quarterback that we still have mixed feelings about. What's going on in Minnesota? Are they going to try to get another quarterback?
And hi, guys. Hi, Mike. Yeah, good question, because it's been hanging over this Vikings organization for weeks, right? We saw that one quarter where J.J. McCarthy was really good, and we haven't seen it since. And then obviously he's been battling injury. Carson Wentz comes in here, and look, I know the Vikings organization's taking a lot of heat the last 24 hours, and we saw Carson in the game just getting beat up. And I think the theory out there, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, I think people think that was Kevin O'Connell keeping Carson out there to protect J.J. McCarthy, or to just have him take the hit so he can protect the other quarterbacks on the bench. Look, that is not the case from what I understand. This was Carson wanting to be out there, trying to toughen through the pain, which credit to him for being as brave as he is. But unfortunately now his season's done because of the labrum that was torn, and now he's got to get season-ending surgery. He's on IR. So now what? Look, I feel like we could probably do a whole show about what happened in Minnesota this year. And I know we've talked about it on the show before. In the offseason when they had that option, do you stick with Sam Darnold? Do you sign Daniel Jones? Do you go get Aaron Rodgers, right? If you think about it, if we could get a time machine and go back, it's not like they made one decision. They made three, right? They didn't do any of those because they believed that J.J. McCarthy was the guy. They used the money that they would have spent on bringing those quarterbacks to extend other players on their team, to continue to build in hopes that J.J. McCarthy. And look, we still don't know. I think it's unfair for us to sit here right now, headed into week 9, and say J.J. McCarthy's a bust. That is not what they believe in that organization.
He's played one good quarter of football for them.
It's just one. That's it, right? But we've seen this before. We're talking about Daniel Jones. How many bad games have we seen in our lives of Daniel Jones? A lot. And look at him now. So I just think with a little bit of patience, some coaching here, it can improve. Okay, so let's put that to the side, right? We'll call it our hope jar that this works itself out. But when you reflect back when they had to make this call, they obviously did not know that this would be the case. I don't think they thought Sam Darnold would leave Minnesota and actually be better in this offense, right? And he's using all the tutelage and everything he learned with Kevin O'Connell and just applying it in Seattle.
Who did? Did Seattle believe that he'd be better than he was in Minnesota? I thought the Minnesota Sam Darnold is the best Sam Darnold any of us would ever see.
Same. I think most did. I think Seattle assumed he would be good. I don't think that they thought it would be like this. And if they did, John Schneider, the general manager there, had this ability to see this. Credit to him. But I remember covering this during free agency. And I remember talking to all the different parties, all the different teams. And it wasn't like they were knocking down the door of Sam Darnold like, you're the guy, we believe in you. They had confidence in him. And Minnesota really, they were ready to move on from Sam. There were guys in that building that really wanted to bring Sam back. But when it came down to it, it was Kevin O'Connell's decision. And in his mind, he could win with J.J. McCarthy.
You don't draft J.J. McCarthy that higher than most other teams would have taken him, unless you were ready to move on from Sam Darnold.
Correct. And you have the Daniel Jones situation. Now, just to remind you guys, the situation there was they went to Daniel Jones and said, look, we want you back. And his camp said, okay, but he's the starter. And you're like, no, you're not the starter. We'll let you come out and compete, but you're not the starter. And so Daniel Jones's camp was like, well, we're going to go to Indy because we know we'll start. Like, we know the situation there. Anthony Richardson is not going to beat out Daniel Jones. That's how confident they felt that Daniel Jones could win it. He knew he could be the starter, so he went. Right? So now that's 2 ifs. And I say with because now we have the intel. I did not think Daniel Jones would be this good. I did not know that they would look like the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Right? Then you've got the Aaron Rodgers scenario where Aaron Rodgers is available. He's putting out all the smoke signals of, hey, I want to play for you. And there was considerable conversations in Minnesota about signing Aaron Rodgers. This was not just Rodgers calling Kevin going, I want to play for you. They talked about it and they were weighing it heavily. And they made the decision as a group that they don't want to go in that direction, that they want to go all in on J.J. McCarthy. And so now they're living with that. And it's just going to take some time. And I think if ownership is comfortable with they have to be patient here, they're okay. But it's hard not to let your mind go to places where you think this team is built to win. If they just had good quarterback play, I think they'd be one of the top NFC teams we're talking about right now.
So the Vikings are putting off vibes like they don't quite trust J.J. McCarthy.
What happened to your mask?
Like something's wrong with him. It was a temporary.
Older.
It was a temporary.
Wait, Greg, what do you mean? What do you mean they're putting outside? Like,
okay.
You think they look hesitant?
Yes, I mean, Wentz's own people are implying that J.J. McCarthy's been ready and they're just withholding putting him out there because they're worried about getting him beat up or something. Are there doubts about J.J. McCarthy? Because it seems like that's what I'm getting from the Vikings and the way they're handling this.
And what do you make of what Wentz's agent did yesterday? Because that's not the most common thing in the world. He's not helping matters in Minnesota. He's obviously mad that his client, was a torso, gave the entirety of his body. Carson Wentz has been crushed the last 3 weeks physically. Like, he's just getting totally beat up.
Greg, I feel like you're asking me, is this a soft benching of J.J. McCarthy?
Yes.
I do not believe so.
I
don't think they're benching J.J. McCarthy. I think this was a high ankle sprain that I was told early, and I know there's been a lot of reporting. I've consistently said it. It was 4 to 6 weeks, and he had to go through a few more hurdles to get cleared. They want a full week of practice. We're here now, right? Like he's expected to start this week. I don't think they were trying to shove JJ in the back to hide him because they went, oh my God, this kid is a nightmare. He stinks. I don't think that's the case. I think they still believe in him. I just don't think they're holding him in the same regard that we saw at camp. Remember I talked to you guys, I went to training camp and I saw him. He was fantastic. He was so good. He has it. I just think there's some battles that they're having in building his confidence back up and dealing with the injury. So it's a combination of a lot of different things.
You saw what Dianna did there, Zaz. I know you appreciated that.
Dianna,
what did I do? What did I do?
No, you were fine.
You were great.
You were very, very good, Dianna. Real pro. What do you make of Dan coming over the top of Greg's question? Getting in his own.
That's his
Making
move.
his own
Yeah.
question.
What do you make of that?
Well, I wanted to add that Carson Wentz's agent, I wanted to
He's
get
doing it again. again. Don't let him do it again.
Right.
He's doing it again.
You know what Dan does? I do it to my mom when we're like at a restaurant or store where I think she's either not talking fast enough or I think that the person we're talking to doesn't understand.
Yep.
And I talk for her. And she'll look at me and go, I can talk. I don't need you to talk for me.
Yes.
Right? So, Greg, I needed to see that because now I understand why she gets annoyed at me because it's rude. It's a little
rude.
Condescending.
Yeah, very condescending.
There's a little bit of ageism there.
Yeah.
And obviously the pace you're moving at is not fast enough for Dan. But
Exactly.
Greg, just so you know, I knew what you were asking. I didn't need Dan to add the agent part.
Thank you,
I was getting there.
But to Dan's credit, at least he doesn't say to you, what Greg is trying to say is, at least he's more subtle than that.
I
So we
just wanted
appreciate
to
it.
add the agent information because Carson Wentz's agent has done something that is unusual.
I gotta tell you.
That wasn't. I wasn't actually speaking for Greg. I was actually adding information for the audience.
Dan, one of the biggest fights I ever got in with my mom was in a parking lot outside of a restaurant because I did that. And she didn't say a word to me. Okay. And that week I had gone through a horrible breakup and I was devastated. And this lunch that we went to was to just talk it out. And she was being a good mom. So after I do the thing that you just did, where I'm like talking to the waitress, I'm like, this is what she wants, you know. We get in the parking lot. Again, she hasn't said a word, which is like unheard of. We're about to get in the car, and she looks across the car and goes, by the way, this is why he left you.
Oh no!
I gotta tell, my sister and sister-in-law were with me. They still, this was 12 years ago. To this day, they're like, that, without a doubt, was the harshest we've ever seen your mom. And I'd get double fingered her. I was done with you. I hate you, the whole thing. But she was right though. That's why he left me because I never shut up. But yeah, she went for the dagger. So don't do that. You can't play.
Don't do that.
Play that dirty.
Don't do that,
There
Dan.
you go. Lesson
Don't
learned.
play dirty.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video. This week, it's an AFC clash as the Baltimore Ravens meet the Miami Dolphins. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party, TNF Tonight. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Ravens and the Dolphins on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Oh, the football season. Cruel beast. Sometimes it gives, sometimes it rips away, sometimes you got good times, sometimes you got bad times. But one thing that'll always lift your spirit is making it Miller time. Because game day just hits different with Miller Lite in your hand. 50 years of great taste, simple ingredients, and that iconic golden color that you can spot from across the room. It's a real eye catcher, folks. And here's the kicker. Just 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975 and still hitting different 5 decades later. So, whatever your game day looks like, remember Miller time is always a good time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
You ever try to name all your financial accounts and what they're actually worth, like your 401k, your investments, your house? Yeah, I couldn't either. Most of us can't. And when you don't know, you're basically leaving money on the table. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year with code Dan at monarch.com. I started using Monarch and I found an old 401k from an old job that I totally forgot about, and it was worth way more than I thought. I also realized I wasn't saving as much as I imagined. Monarch shows you everything, your spending, your investments, even how much cash is just sitting there doing nothing. No spreadsheets, no chaos, just a clear view of your money. You can share with your partner too, which means fewer fights about who spent what at Target and how much the baby actually needs. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
Dan Le Batard.
Daddy says you're doing a live show on the draft. Is it Channel 7?
Stugats.
Those girls on Eyewitness News, they look good. They're mothers. They look good, though.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
Don't try and add agent information for the audience. I was not speaking for Greg Cody.
It was redundant.
Sounded like it.
We
So,
covered that
well,
episode.
you guys are good at like theorizing these things. What do you think Carson's agent was trying to put out yesterday? Because they did not contact me.
He thinks the Vikings wrecked his client's body. And so he's pissed. That's what I
mean,
thought.
there was a certain tone attached to Ian Rappaport weighing in on the situation that made you feel like something was coming from Carson Wentz camp that was pretty negative, and understandably so. I mean, I've never seen Carson Wentz display the kind of emotion that he's displayed trying to tough it out through that injury.
Yeah, and it's funny, you're right, because I am seeing the other side to it where kind of what I'm explaining, which is, having conversations with people there of like, this was the process for us, right? This is what we were doing. We're not purposely just putting him out there to die. And I say that dramatically, not to be funny at all. So look, at the end of the day, Carson's not here. He's not with the Vikings. He's on IR. What are they going to do? Because if look at the situation. If JJ McCarthy comes back and he looks the way he did the last time we saw him, this is going to be a really long season for them and a rough one. And he's going to get hurt again because he's not ready, based on what we saw that last time. If he can play like we saw him against the Bears in that fourth quarter where he was, throwing miracle balls, then they'll be in good shape. I just don't know where JJ McCarthy is at right now.
Dianna, I know this is super interesting, but let's briefly put a bow on this. They're obviously invested in JJ McCarthy, but do they get an insurance policy? It's not like I know Kirk Cousins rumors are always going to be out there. It's not like he did anything to improve his trade value.
No, I don't. I think the Kirk Cousins story, I have a hard time believing that'll happen. I think they were toying with it a little bit at one point. I know Kirk wanted to go back there. I don't think that's going to be a reality, though. And you're right, like just the way Kirk doesn't look great right now. So no, I don't have any intel right now of them taking some big swing to get a quarterback or some super. And here's the problem too, Mike. Look around the league. Anyone that has a good backup, like, for example, the Houston Texans, like teams call them all the time about Davis Mills. They're like, no way, you can't touch him. Like, you want that insurance policy. So it's really hard for Minnesota to go find someone now because everyone's locked in to who their guys are. And every other team has problems with their backup quarterbacks. Look at San Francisco, right? They're lucky they've had Mac Jones.
Dianna, you reported on Saturday morning, I think it was, that Steve Sarkisian has put out feelers to the NFL and I think specifically the Tennessee job. His agents came out and strongly denied it. He did as well. Why would they do that? Like, isn't that a good thing if there are rumors out there about him wanting to go to the NFL?
No, it's horrible. When you're the head coach of Texas and you've got recruits visiting and it's game day and you got NIL and just all the weird landscape of college now that goes with this. Like, you're right. Like, years ago, who cares? Who cares? Steve Sarkisian wants to be an NFL coach. Not breaking news, right? Most college coaches want to coach in the NFL. But in 2025, there are just so many different factors and so many, with the portal, players wanting to maybe leave if they don't trust that their coach is going to be there. There's a lot of layers and they have every right to be mad. Unfortunately, they never added that Steve Sarkisian wants to stay at Texas, right? They just said, this is not true. We did not talk to any NFL teams. And Jimmy Sexton and Steve Sarkisian, just to be clear, that the reporting I did not come from them. Like, Steve didn't call me on Saturday morning and be like, hey, like, report this. So I think, does Steve Sarkisian have thoughts about coaching the NFL? Absolutely. We'll just see how this goes the rest of the year. I think it's totally fair and understanding to say that Steve Sarkisian is always going to keep his options open. He should. He should. It would be smart business for Steve to always have options outside of Texas.
Chris, we're going to speed her up here to get more football information because we spent way too much time on the Vikings. Also, Jeremy is enraged, okay? During the break, while Greg Cody was in the other room and saying that Meadowlark Media does nothing better than bacon, okay, because he was over there just eating bacon with his bare hands, as Frankenstein, Jeremy was screaming at everybody, we didn't spend enough time on baseball. We haven't spent enough time on baseball. Why were you talking about the UM offensive coordinator? I want to do baseball. That's the greatest baseball game ever played, and we continue to just do football with Dianna. So go ahead and speed Dianna up here and take a guess, guys. Take a guess. We'll get to Jeremy in a second. He's got a whiteboard, a lot of things that he wants to talk about. You want to take a guess at who the third best point differential in the NFL is. At the top, you've got the Colts by a good margin. Second is the Chiefs. For all the hand-wringing that I did, the Chiefs are second. Do you want to guess who's third? Anybody want to guess who's third?
Chargers.
Incorrect. Anybody want to guess who's
Bills.
third? Incorrect. Anybody?
The Patriots.
That is correct. The Patriots is correct. I would have guessed the Lions. Can you explain to me what it is other than Drake May that the Patriots are doing?
Josh McDaniels was the best hire that Mike Vrabel could have made. And when he made it, most people said boring, worn out, exhausting, predictable, not outside the box, not creative. The game has changed. He's failed multiple times. And yet when you talk to people in New England, the relationship that Drake May has with Josh McDaniels and the connection that they have has a little bit of a Brady feel.
Wow. Dianna, if you could talk a little bit about, real quick, Josh McDaniels' offseason, because there was a lot of league chatter that said he was just in the lab reshaping his entire approach to offense, breaking himself of some old habits.
Yeah, I mean, he was visiting a lot of different places and trying to learn. You see this a lot, like the self-reflection. Dan Quinn talked about it after he was fired as well, of just, what am I not doing right? Where am I having a disconnect with the team, with the organization, with ownership as a leader? And I think that Josh McDaniels is just comfortable. Josh McDaniels is comfortable in New England with that ownership group. I think him and Mike Vrabel speak the same language. They never had, from what I understand, some close friendship that they brought, that he brought McDaniels in because it makes, this is my guy. It's just, we know this world. We know how to operate here. We know this fan base. We know this division. And I just think that when you're comfortable, you can be at your best.
Dianna, can Jonathan Taylor win MVP considering Saquon Barkley couldn't win it last year?
That was going to be my reason no, right? And I think there is good quarterback play right now that it's going to make it hard. And you're right. Like if Saquon Barkley can't win it after what he did rushing for 2,000 yards and just absolutely being the most important person on that team, I think it's hard to make that argument for Jonathan Taylor. But I will say, last year, before I made my vote for that, I called a bunch of players I love picking their brains. Like, who do you think? And I will say Saquon I got more answers that Saquon should be it than anything else. But I did not vote for Saquon. Sorry, Saquon.
Baltimore gets its magic wand back this week. Does Lamar Jackson lead 2-5 Ravens into the playoffs?
Yes. I think
Whoa.
I don't doubt Lamar Jackson. I think with him coming back, it's going to give this team the surge it needs. The defense made some good corrections. I still don't think they're great, but improved. And I think Lamar Jackson, he's the straw that stirs the drink. You bring him out there, and they're unstoppable.
What do you make of this tweet from Nick Wright? The current state of NFL insider reporting. The fans don't get to know that Carson Wentz suffered major injury nearly a month ago while he's still playing, but once he's shut down for the season, we're allowed to know all the gritty, tough details. Shout out to the agents.
I think everyone wants more information and everybody wants the truth. And we're in an age right now where there is so much chatter and so many bad, Twitter handles and aggregators and misinformation that I think that's more Nick pushing back on, like, I don't want transaction. I don't want agent-handed intel. I want information that no one else has that's going to give me a little bit more insight into what's happening, not just packaged reporting.
What's
and
real?
I get it.
What's real on A.J. Brown and the Eagles and a smaller role? I get why A.J. Brown would be saying, yeah, we're winning, but we'd win more and better if you threw me the ball more.
Philly is not going to like you today. Look, using me, not using me, right? Like that, you basically just described how he feels. And I think the offense that we saw against the New York Giants this past weekend is what Philly wants to do. Now add A.J. Brown to it, and this thing could be electric. Unfortunately, I don't think A.J. Brown believes that he's going to be used in a way that he wants to, which is throughout the entire game. So you have an unhappy superstar receiver who, unless he's going to get fed the way he wants to, is never going to be happy. And sometimes with these wide receivers, I don't know what the recipe is to make them happy. He had 2 touchdowns and 120 yards against the Vikings, and he was miserable. I think I talked to Philadelphia Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie about this. What would you do if A.J. Brown knocked on your door and was like, get me out of here, I'm not happy? And he's like, look, we'll do what's best for the Philadelphia Eagles. And after having more conversations with Philly over the weekend, unless it's a blockbuster deal, they're not going to move them. But a lot of that changes if they're aware that their receiver's so miserable, because we've seen before how this stuff plays out.
Faster.
Is Caleb Williams going to be the third best QB in his draft class?
He could be. I mean, right? We're still figuring out J.J. McCarthy here. It's obviously Drake May. It's Jaden. Caleb is easily in there. Bo Nix is touched. Appears to be improving. I think that's fair.
What do you make of Woody Johnson doing everything he did to Justin Fields?
Unaware. Sad. Bad leadership.
Any Halloween plans?
Yes. Do you guys know what getting booed is?
Getting
like
booed?
To be booed during Halloween season?
Booed at home?
Yeah.
No.
It's horrible.
What is it?
Okay. So at nighttime in October, people come up and ding dong ditch. So they ring your doorbell and they leave gifts for your kids on the porch, and then they run away. And I don't understand this. I think it's dumb. It wakes my kids up, but it's every day. So I don't know what to do.
Why is that booed? They're leaving you a gift. It's not like it's not a bag.
It's like booed, like it was a ghost that left you a present.
Ah.
I want to change it to boozed and just have people leave me bottles of wine or something, because it's just I don't get, like, we're gonna have a whole day of candy, right? Like, we're gonna do a whole day of going to all the different streets and houses and bother everyone. I don't understand, because here's what it is. I'll tell you the truth. I feel guilty. Do I have to go boo people now? Do I have to go do packages of candy and drive around my neighborhood?
If you got booed, you should boo back.
I want to change it, though. I feel like we got to do something different.
Be the change you want.
Yes.
Are you wearing a costume this year? Are you going to go around the neighborhood with the kids? How do you do it?
Yeah, I don't do the costume. But I'm going to be there and just hang out and support and try to get them to go to the houses that have the good candy.
She's the NFL insider, senior NFL insider for The Athletic, and the host of the Scoop City podcast. Nice seeing you, Dianna. Always nice seeing you.
Fall's here. Kids are back in school, vacations are over, and cozy season is officially on. And you know what that means? Bomber season is on. I've been rocking the socks, tees, and underwear lately, and honestly, it's next level comfort. Merino wool keeps you warm but not sweating. Supima cotton is soft but tough, and the classic rag wool, that's straight up fall vibes. And it's not just socks. Bombers Sherpa Line Sunday slippers are perfect for staying in. And the EVA Friday slides, perfect for running out, grabbing coffee, whatever. And the best part, every item you buy, they donate one to someone experiencing homelessness. Over 150 items donated so far. And with their happiness guarantee, if you're not loving it, they'll make it right. No risk, all reward. So yeah, treat yourself, feel good, and do some good while you're at it. Bombas has you covered this fall. Head over to bombas.com/Dan and use code DAN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/DAN. Use code DAN at checkout.
Dan Le Batard.
Are you on the Fan right now? Did Mike Greenberg call you yet? Are you ever going to go back to ESPN? People think it's so weird you're a writer now. All those years on TV? All those years? And now you write? Who reads that?
Stugats.
Why did you take a job at The Atlantic? Mom, I work at The Athletic. What? You're on YouTube?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
Jeremy has been very patient. He is enraged. He's been working on a whiteboard for the last 30 minutes. He's been insisting that we go to him while we've been talking about the Minnesota Vikings. What are they? The 3-win Minnesota Vikings. 10 minutes on the 3-win Minnesota Vikings instead of talking about the greatest baseball game ever played. Jeremy will be doing a live stream with Chris Cody and others off of Game 5 of the World Series presented by DraftKings. There's a furious. What are you running your hand against your neck for, Jeremy? Why are you telling me not to come to you, or you're not doing the live stream? What are you doing?
No, I was telling our video team that I need to have this light right here. Because Mike Ryan has scared every single other person in this room about the shade of green on my face.
You're bringing it up.
And so I was making sure that Mike Fuentes was in this shot with the light as close as humanly possible.
I think it makes it worse,
But
honestly.
yes, we do have a live stream coming up for Game 5. That's tomorrow night. It's going to be really great. And if the game goes 18 innings, we'll be with you until 3 in the morning.
That would have been great if you guys had been doing the live stream last night. What is your whiteboard? What are you trying to show us? Did Shohei Ohtani reach base 9 times last night?
Yes. Shohei Ohtani reached base 9 times. He's the first person to do that.
Is that good?
Period. I have a bunch of stats here. This is a Venn diagram, sort of, in which we could see Shohei Ohtani in the middle and all of these people who he shares statistics with. So Shohei Ohtani joins Babe Ruth as the only players in baseball history with multiple pitching starts, more than 2 home runs in his postseason career. Yeah, how about Corey Seager here? 8 home runs for 1 Dodgers postseason. He won World Series MVP. He got 3+ multi-homer games in postseason history. In 1 postseason.
I'm going to need you to slow down, okay? People don't love math with their audio experience, so just slow down and do it at a pace where people can absorb what you're saying. So Ohtani has how many home runs now this postseason? Most by a Dodger ever?
He has 8 home runs this postseason. It ties Corey Seager for the most in 1 Dodgers postseason.
This also includes a 1-for-17 stretch in the middle of this.
That's right. That's maybe the craziest part. And it includes a stretch here over the last couple of games where he has 12 total bases in 1 game, 12 total bases in the next game. Those are his last 2 at Dodger Stadium. There's not another major league player in the modern era that's had a dozen total bases in 2 consecutive home games ever, regular season or postseason history. It's insane. 4 extra base hits in 1 postseason game. Frank Isbell, 1906.
I don't know that fool.
Bases empty, intentional walks in the World Series. Ohtani joins only Albert Pujols. 6 homers in 4 games in 1 postseason. Ohtani joins Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. 12+ total bases at a World Series game. He joins Pablo Sandoval, Albert Pujols, Reggie Jackson, Babe Ruth. 8+ intentional walks in 1 postseason. Ohtani joins Barry Bonds and Albert Pujols. 3+ intentional walks in 1 World Series games. It's Bonds, it's Pujols, it's Big Papi, it's Rudy York. And then here's the big one.
Rudy York.
Including pitching, because remember, Ohtani starts tonight. Right-handed pitchers with 6 innings pitched, 2 hits or fewer, 10 strikeouts in an NLCS.
TMI.
Max Scherzer, Josh Beckett, and Shohei Ohtani. It's unbelievable. It's not only the greatest game ever played in 1 World Series game.
And in closing.
Totally. Sorry, I've been hearing Chris talking to the production crew in my ear the entire time. It's the single greatest athlete in the history of sports.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. What the hell is Rudy York doing in there?
Who's Rudy York?
And please look up for me whatever information you have of when Rudy York played. What is the year that Rudy York played? This is a person that does not belong in this group of people that you have just assembled. Your board was filled. The Sandoval, maybe. But Rudy York, I don't think belongs in that list of greats.
Demeans the board.
But find me some information, please, on Rudy York so that I can answer Greg Cody's questions on why it is that Rudy York is in there. When did Rudy York play? What is Rudy York's history?
All right, he played for 13 seasons between 1934. Skipped a couple of years. Started again in 1937 to 1948.
Why did he skip a couple of years?
I guess he got sent back down. I don't know.
Lack of interest.
There were war or something.
There were wars. There was a Ted Williams. The middle of his career, he was a fighter pilot.
League of Their Own, was that then?
That doesn't happen that often anymore. I wanted to ask you guys something that happened during the football game last night. There was a play that Zach Ertz, to me, on fourth down, absolutely converted a fourth down with a catch. And I am always amazed that I do think that for all the complaints that we have everywhere in sport around officiating, I think the NFL does a fairly great job at spotting the football. Generally speaking, there are mistakes made, but the spotting of the football is difficult, and I think they do it well. But last night, they went to technology that is new now for a first down. And it seemed to me obvious visually, on slow motion and otherwise, that Zach Ertz had gotten the first down. But when they went to their new technology on measurement, that is not unlike tennis's, they gave the ball to Kansas City and said it was 5 inches short. And it seemed to me like the technology got it wrong. To my eye, it seemed like Zach Ertz got the first down, and it was clear that he got the first down. What do you do with that? Are my eyes lying to me? Are you believing that the technology right now is so good and so advanced, even though it's the first year of the technology, and they've done this pretty well with those chains over the years? I thought they got it wrong last night with the technology.
So I didn't see the play you're talking about. I'm flipping back and forth with the baseball, but are you talking about your eyes saw him like the yellow line, or you're actually able to see where the stick was?
I was watching all of it, okay? I was watching where the stick was. I was watching where his knee was. I was watching slow motion. I was watching where it is that he was putting the ball on forward progress. And I thought it was obvious that he got, not by much, but I didn't think there was any circumstance under which that was going to be ruled short. I thought it was obvious to everyone on the field that he had gotten it. It wasn't like a whole lot of Kansas City players were sitting there saying it was the other direction, but they went to that, what is that tennis technology, where it's like, you trust the technology here? They
love that technology.
Oh, eagle eye.
I love the tennis.
Following the ball.
But how do they know with this new technology they're using with the football? Because, okay, they could tell where the football is, but how do they know where, like, the knee was down?
They're doing virtual, they call it a virtual measurement, okay? And I have not seen this happened before, because in tennis, I trust that thing completely.
Well, the only thing you need to know in tennis is the ball.
Correct. But this wasn't even a problem of the knee or anything else. And I guess from the look on your guys' faces, you did not have the experience with this that I did, which I thought it was simply obvious that not by much, but that Zach Ertz had indeed gotten that first down. In fact, I didn't think they were going to even have to measure it with chains if they still did it that way.
I remember the play, and it was too close to call, but I think it does a disservice to sports, any sport, when you're going back and forth through human judgment and technology. Pick one or the other. Either trust what the linesman says, trust what the chain gang says, or go completely to technology. I think it's bad when you have the call on the field and then you overturn it or justify it with technology. One or the other. Humans or technology, not both.
I'm looking at the still shot right now. It looks like a first down.
You know, Zach Ertz is one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history.
That can't be true.
He's a top 10 tight end in NFL history.
Yeah, pretty good.
Last night, he became just the sixth tight end to eclipse 800 career receptions. That list is Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, Travis Kelce, Antonio Gates, and Shannon Sharp. It's pretty amazing because it felt like Zach Ertz's career was written off like 4 seasons ago.
Jay Novacek would like a word.
He can have his word and then get behind Zach Ertz in line.
Well, this is where I will simply object to what it is that you're framing there, even though statistically and empirically it can't be argued, the numbers that you're talking about. But just like I will not accept that the 50-point basketball game is the same specifically because Austin Reeves and Lauri Markkanen have done it in back-to-back nights, I don't believe that the tight ends of the past have been eclipsed by Zach Ertz because you say so numerically.
Dallas Clark would like a word.
Dallas Clark.
Heath
Miller would like a word.
He can get behind Dallas Clark.
The immortal Mark Andrews would like a word.
John Mackey.
No,
Greg Olson would like a word.
Keith Jackson.
It is a different era, but it's also a difficult position to have that kind of longevity at.
Jackson was awesome.
Because
Mike Ditka would like a word.
Shohei Ohtani would be better.
You're seeing what's happening to Travis Kelce at his age. That's usually how it goes for these boxing
Farrell
types.
Edmonds. Whew.
Travis Kelce actually had a great game in terms of yak. Like, that's not something he's really doing.
In terms of everything. Wasn't he their leading receiver last night?
Yeah, it's just, I guess the eye test. I'm sure someone can run it empirically, but like he's fallen down a hell of a lot as soon as he catches these balls. He looks older, as he's supposed to. Zach Ertz looks great. Like, he looks better now than he looked 5 years ago. It's a difficult position to have longevity in because you're carrying so much weight around and you're doing so much blocking at the line of scrimmage. I don't think Zach Ertz is one of the 10 best tight ends in NFL history, even though you can make an argument for it. I don't think he's better than George Kittle. But it's crazy that he's had this kind of career resurgence.
Dave Casper would like a word.
I object, to the distortion of the numbers in today's game the moment Lauri Markkanen becomes the first 50-point scorer in Utah history since Karl Malone. That is where you have made the 50-point game irrelevant. I thought perhaps I was headed there yesterday with Austin Reeves getting the 50-point game, but it was solidified for me. It was solidified for me last night.
Are we doing our MVP of the day?
Oh,
I have imaging.
Okay. Yup.
Of the day.
Dan, I got a new. There's a new front runner for league MVP right now, and his name is Tyrese Maxey.
Oh,
that's right. First of all, the Sixers, if you know, are 3-0. Embiid didn't play. He sucks. They're better without Embiid. He's a terrible player. And Tyrese Maxey, 43 points last night. Maxey so far this season, 3 games, is averaging 34 points, 7.5 assists a game. His team is undefeated. Tyrese Maxey has entered the MVP conversation.
Shohei Ohtani's the first player with 3 multi-homer games in a single postseason. He starts on the mound tonight.
MVP of the day.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video. This week, it's an AFC clash as the Baltimore Ravens meet the Miami Dolphins. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party, TNF Tonight. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Ravens and the Dolphins on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.